Hey everybody, this is Mr. Walsh, and we're going to talk about the International System of Units in this video. So the International System of Units is what we kind of commonly call the metric system. Yeah, there are some subtleties about the difference between the metric system and the International System of Units, but for all practical purposes, the metric system is the International System of Units. And so because it's the International System of Units, we abbreviate it. Instead of calling it the SI in science class, we call it, or instead of calling it the metric system in science class, we call it SI, because it's based in France, and the French word for international system is Système International de Unité. And I'm sure there's, accents and stuff, but this is about as much French as I know. But so this is where it gets abbreviated SI. Okay, and so it's based in France. The French keep it, and they are the ones who are in charge of making sure that the metric system and the standards that we use for the metric system kind of stay consistent. So in the International System of Units, SI, there are two types of units. Okay, so there are base units, and then there are derived units. Okay, the base units are units that cannot be broken down further, and there are 7 here. Okay, there are 7 base units, and that's it. Okay, and so the 7 that you will probably see in this class are meter, second, kilogram, mole, and Kelvin. Okay, you can see the symbol for each of these, and you can see what they measure. Okay, now the 2 others, and I don't have them on this list because we're not going to see them in this class, but the 2 others are amperes, okay, which is capital A, and that measures electrical current. And the other one, which is a really weird one, is called a candela, and that's a capital C. Okay, and the candela measures luminous intensity, or how bright a light bulb is, or how bright a light source is. Okay, so see, that's my light bulb. Those are the 7. But these are the 5 that I'm not going to ever ask you questions about these other 2. Okay, so these are the 5. Know their symbol, know what they measure. Most of these things you already know. Okay, now a derived unit I put right next to it is because a derived unit is any other unit. Okay, if it's not a meter, a second, a kilogram, a mole, a Kelvin, an ampere, or candela, it is a derived unit. Okay, so common derived units that we're kind of used to seeing are liters, pounds, inches, volts, but others that I don't want you to get confused with are things like a centimeter. Okay, that is a derived unit, and it's derived off of the meter. So you put a prefix in front of it, it's still a derived unit. Okay, even though meter is on the list, centimeter is not. Okay, so those are the differences between base units. These are the 7. Know these 7, and a derived unit. Anything else? There's millions of derived units. The International System of Units also uses prefixes, and I'm sure at some point you have been told about prefixes in the metric system and what they mean. But the beauty of this is that the prefixes mean a power of 10, or like a power of 10 meaning like 100 or 1,000, or even smaller powers of 10 like 0.01 or 0.00001. Okay, and so that allows us to abbreviate or make shorter the numbers and the units that we're talking about. So instead of saying I walked 2,000 meters yesterday, you could say I walked 2 kilometers yesterday. And when we put this together, it's kilometer, Okay, but, and the 1,000, that prefix 1,000 is translated into, that number 1,000 is translated into the prefix kilo. Okay, and so it makes it easier for us to understand. Okay, 2 kilometers. Okay, now another way, we can go smaller. Like I said, we have these smaller powers of 10. Okay, that we can deal with. So it's like a drop of water is only 1,000th of a liter. Okay, and we can say the same thing by saying a milliliter. Okay, so the prefix milli means 1,000th of whatever this unit is. Okay, and so knowing prefixes allow us to make things shorter and easier for us to understand. So here are the prefixes, everything from giga all the way down to nano. Okay, so the reason why we kind of pick giga is because now if you know computers, the biggest computer right now, the computer memory is a gigabyte. So this is probably something that you have heard before. Giga, mega, kilo, okay, kilometer, kilogram, or kilogram, okay. And then when I put the unit in here, that just means like, is it meter, okay, is it whatever unit we're talking about, okay. Deci, centi, like a centimeter, millimeter, micro, okay. You've probably seen that in nano. So you don't necessarily need to memorize this, but you at least need to be familiar that these are prefixes, and each of the prefixes also have abbreviations. And then those prefixes also have a numerical meaning, either by power or by actual number written out. So you notice each of these are powers of 10. Giga is 10 to the 9th, or 1 billion things. Okay, a gigabyte would be 1 billion, I said billion, okay, pieces of memory. Okay, a megabyte would be 1 million pieces of memory. Okay, so you can get an idea of just how much bigger a megabyte is, or a gigabyte is, from a megabyte. Okay, so some examples. We did these in class. But we can do them here too. So if you want to try them on your own, feel free to pause the video. And it says if I had 1,000 liters, okay, you would have, so we're looking for the prefix that means 1,000. So this is, okay, 1,000. So this would be a kilo for 1,000. But then we need liters, which is a liter. We would have a kiloliter. Or, if you were going to write this, it would be kiloliter. This would be the abbreviation for that. Okay, and it says I have a megagram of paper. Okay, megagram. How many grams of paper do you have? Well, now we have the unit with the prefix. We want to get an idea. So now we have 1 million grams. Okay, because the prefix mega means 1 million, or you could have written it out like this. Okay, 1 million grams. Okay, and that's the symbol for gram. Okay, a grain of salt is, let's make sure we know our decimals. This is tenths, hundredths, thousandths, so it's 1,000th of a meter wide. Okay, so we look at the table, that's going to be this, so that is a millimeter. Okay, or if you want to abbreviate it, the prefix milli is abbreviated M, and the unit meter is abbreviated M. So an mm is a millimeter. Okay, not to be confused with a plain M. A plain M would just be a meter. This would be a millimeter. What do we do with SI? Okay, so we want to know about how much a large bottle of water holds. Okay, so now we're talking about units, not prefixes. Well, maybe prefixes a little bit. So this is about getting a sense for how much each kind of unit or some units are. Okay, so this bottle of water, a bottle of water does not hold a milliliter or a microliter, and it also doesn't hold gigaliters. Okay, a bottle of water just holds plain old liter. Okay, it's about 1 liter. A big bottle of water is about 1 liter. Okay, and so it's definitely not 1,000 liters. A regular soda bottle, okay, that you buy in the store, the kind of the larger soda bottles, those are 2-liter bottles. Okay, so you can get an idea. So a bottle of water is definitely not 1,000 times bigger than that. It's not 1,000. It's not a kiloliter. A bottle of water holds about 1 liter. Okay, a book. Okay, a book. Okay, the mass of a book is about a kilogram. Okay, it's about a kilogram. Okay, so that gives you an idea. So if something weighs, 3 or 4 books, that's 3 or 4 kilograms. Okay, if something is significantly smaller than a kilogram, that's going to be in the gram range. And then a washing machine. Okay, most of you have seen a washing machine. We want to know how wide a washing machine is. Okay, and so it's definitely not. And I have a ruler here. Okay, it's definitely not centimeters wide. Okay, which is from 0 to 1 here. It's definitely not. It's definitely not millimeters wide, which is this little marking. Okay, so a washing machine is kind of like a meter wide. It's definitely not a kilometer wide. A kilometer, just to give you an idea, is from the school, from RV, about down to the light downtown in downtown Mahali. Okay, so it's I know that there's several lights downtown, but about that. That's about a kilometer. So it's definitely not a kilometer wide. So it's about a meter. You've seen meter sticks, probably, or yardsticks. Okay, so that's the length. Okay, so there you have it, a little introduction to SI.